Cinematic Universe Assemble!
Cinematic Symbols.
MCU! MCU! MCU!
Yeah.
MCU!
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I ain't got my notebook. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. We tried to make a crazy opening. It probably didn't work. Josh is on the spot. We are ready to talk some more Marvel. Yeah, dude, we got to turn the light off, too. We're just butchering this. It's okay. That's what we do.
We're so focused on the intro.
I know y'all loved it. Jeez. I know Josh didn't. Whatever. He's the more serious of the bunch when it comes to childish shit. So, guys, we did the last week's on Zoom. We're all accounted for, even though Tyler's not on screen. If you watched the other episodes, you would know that. You should if you haven't. But if you're just here for the MCU, that's fine, too. We're jumping into the next 4 movies. We got Incredible Hulk, we got Thor, we got Avengers, and we have Thor: The Dark World, which we had some problems where we were just like, is Iron Man 3 or The Dark World? And we figured out that Disney just labeled it this way, but this is how we watched it, so this is what we're rolling with. So don't hate us if you're like, Iron Man 3 is actually supposed to be the 4th movie in this chronological phase. We get it. We understand. So, without further ado, let's jump into that first one. Incredible fucking Hulk. A very black sheepy movie amongst this.
It is the black sheep, I would say,
Yeah, dude.
of the MCU. But what we got for plot, it says scientist Bruce Banner desperately seeks a cure for the gamma radiation that contaminated his cells and turned him into the Hulk. Cut off from his true love, Betty Ross, and forced to hide from his nemesis, General Thunderbolt Ross, Banner soon comes face-to-face with a new threat, a supremely powerful enemy known as the Abomination.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Would you?
100%.
I hope you did.
No, I did. It comes in at an hour 52 minutes. Came out in 2008. The budget at $150 million.
Oh, you're not going to
yeah.
ask us what we think the budget is, like you've been doing?
How much do you
ask
think?
us, ask us.
How much do you think it grossed?
It grossed
much?
175.
Okay, so you think it
I'll
made,
say 235.
Brandon? Do you have a guess?
I missed all of this.
Well, how much do you think it made money
Money-wise,
Yeah.
on a $150 million budget?
300.
Rodney was closest. It's 265. So
265.
Solid.
Nice.
Nice. You ready? We got to
Is
do
that all you got, Tyler?
What is
Yes,
it?
Rodney's up.
I'm just going to be honest.
Rodney's up.
Rodney to say, like, what is it? He literally looked at me with, like, the help. That's so crazy. The fear in his face
Movie
was
awards,
amazing.
Rodney?
The
Yeah.
awards and noms and the new
Okay.
thing we added in. The actors
Okay,
and
so
characters, maybe where you know them from.
The director of The Incredible Hulk is
Shout out to Josh for the idea.
Is Louis Leterrier, that's how you say it.
Is it?
Edward Norton, Liv Tyler, Tim Roth, William Hurt, Tim Blake Nelson, and Ty Burrell. The cast is pretty stacked of this movie.
I would say so.
That's one
Seems like
thing
they
Marvel
always are in Marvel.
really
We're going to be
does
saying that the
good,
rest
yeah.
of the way. Yeah, like,
Yeah, for the future reference.
like, this
stacked
cast actually sucks now I think about it in comparison. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Of course, as your main characters, you know, Edward Norton is the Hulk, and Liv Tyler is Betty Ross.
That was him?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there was no awards for this movie. None. I don't think. I mean, maybe from the other movies that I've seen, awards-wise, it'd be visual effects, but it didn't even get nominated or anything for that. So
Bastards, dude.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Who's everybody's favorite character in this movie?
Ed Norton.
The Ed Norton?
Ed Norton or Hulk?
Or Edward Norton? The plot thickens.
Hulk, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But Edward as the Hulk, yeah.
Not as Banner.
Oh, that wasn't him? That was CGI?
Yeah, apparently. I had to find that out later, too.
Damn.
I mean, I love the Hulk too, and I figured someone was going to say that, so I put down Abomination. I think up to this point, he's by far the best villain.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the look. Yeah, I love
Like through the first 4 movies, or just 2 movies?
No, through everything
Hey,
we've
we
watched,
talked about.
It's so
I think
dope.
My
far.
brain went to this was like the second main movie. I was like, not hard to do. It's like you never hear somebody say up until this point or 2 movies in.
And he is,
don't
I
know why my
think,
brain went
one
there.
of the best villains through the
Yeah.
whole MCU.
Yeah, he's
It's not
such a
saying
cool
much,
person.
but yeah, no doubt.
Or character.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll go ahead and go. Yeah, Abomination, Tim Roth. Yeah, he was awesome in this movie, and I borderline liked him more when he wasn't Abomination. When he was just like willing to go head to head with this Abomination from his point of view.
Yeah,
like
Tim
he
Roth
was just
is
ready to
great.
go, dude. It didn't matter what was going on, what threat of violence. Like that one scene, like remember me? Like oh, it's like okay, let's go, Tim Roth.
Dude, he was a badass in this.
No
But,
doubt about it. Fuck him. Anyways,
My favorite character goes to General Ross. I think Ross in this movie
that's
more
such
than
a Rodney favorite
any-
character. Like I was like General. I'm like, oh, it's Rodney. That makes sense.
But it's like he gives 0 fucks. Like throughout this whole movie that it's his daughter. Like there was like 1 or 2 times in the movie where he was like, okay, this is my daughter. I got to
Yeah,
think.
like if it wasn't
But-
for me, you'd be in cuffs too.
Yes, dude, like
that
saying
that was
shit
like
like
it.
that,
That was
like-
about the only time you're like, well, I guess that's kind of
Yeah.
heartfelt-ish.
Yeah, I mean that it's and the way he laughed at her boyfriend when he said, "Nah, I know why she don't talk about you" and all that. Like it's just his demeanor in this movie was just, I mean, the best Ross that we get, as we carry on. But I
I
think
like Ross from Friends the best personally.
Ross
Yeah.
is funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then we'll jump into favorite scene, and of course, if you're with us on the Zoom call, favorite scene and favorite action sequences, the other faves we do in these Marvel movies. And I try to have the favorite scene and favorite action sequence differ, but sometimes, you just can't help it. But it's nice to add in that little bit of levity with it. My favorite scene, I'll just jump into it, was the rooftop into transformation scene. Like when he's running away, you're like, rooftops, what's going on? When he's basically like doing parkour, but like a
Oh,
lighter
yeah.
version, he's running away from him. Like the intensity of him, like I might fucking turn in the hole, and him fighting it off, like stopping for a second. Like there's action there for sure, but it's more of like the whole thing, the build up. And then, of course, leading into when you see the Hulk. And I love how they kept him in the shadows. Not the actual action scene that broke out. I'm going to keep it to the chase. And when you see him, like, you see him in the dark, and you're like, where the fuck is he at? And there's that time you just see the shoe fly out of the darkness, and that's it. It's like, whoa, shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, let's see him. Let's see him. It had me hyped. That'd probably be my favorite.
It's a very good creative choice. It's a very risky creative choice to do that.
Keep him
Yeah,
in
they
the
didn't
shadows.
show the
Keep him in the
Hulk
shadows.
once this whole
Have
movie.
it right and having it for the
Crazy.
the first Hulk out to be in the shadows like that
I
is
think they
very
pulled it
risky.
off.
But
No.
I really
What you
enjoyed
don't
that.
see always fucks with you more. So
But
I dig that.
I'll
too.
go next because that's my favorite scene as well.
Nice.
I love the shots of like Brazil, like the favelas or whatever that they have when he's running through the rooftops. Like just the mass scope of like how big.
Yeah,
those
and he knows,
slums
like,
are or
They're gonna
whatever.
say
everywhere.
just the
He
mass
knows
on the Hulk.
yeah, all the ins and outs. But yeah, that chase scene through the rooftops, my favorite.
You guys aren't gonna believe this.
No way, don't say it.
No, I'm just kidding. I like whenever he's first fighting with the army, and they have all these like Hummers trying to take him out, and then that supersonic thing
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. I never even knew about that. Like,
Yeah, Sonic the
fuck
Hedgehog, dude's a
Yeah,
thing.
Sonic.
Did you have a
Which
childhood?
I read somewhere that I didn't see it in the movie, but that it said Stark somewhere on those. So Stark
Really?
Oh, that
made
don't
the
surprise
sonic
me.
waves
Hell
or
yeah.
whatever.
That didn't
to
notice
stop.
me. No, they didn't notice me. It didn't
That
notice
didn't
me
notice
at all.
That's crazy. That's surprising.
I
Yeah,
can't believe
that's cool.
Stark did not notice me.
So-
I didn't notice that.
Are we doing favorite action scene
No,
now?
Not
favorite
yet.
Scene.
Okay, so favorite scene is completely off from where you all are at. In the helicopter, when Ross and Edward Norton,
I thought about
Vanna
making this my favorite scene.
and Liv Tyler's up there in the helicopter, and the one time in this movie where you get to see Ross vulnerable, and is when they find out about Abomination, and Liv Tyler looks at him like, "What have you done?" And the look in General Ross's eyes, like I was just like, "Oh." Like he actually knows
He
he
felt it.
fucked up here, and and it's just something you don't get from him as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was like a nice, fresh change of pace to his character. That scene affected me the most out of any scene.
What
in the
about
movie.
favorite action scene, Rodney?
has-
Favorite action sequence?
Everybody's probably going to be in agreement on it. The Hulk versus Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 100%, dude. That fight, especially the
It's great.
opening of that fight.
It's probably one of the better end fights. It feels like a lot of
Oh, it
end
is.
fights always get cut like a little short, but they're
Yeah,
cool
fall
while they
flat.
last. This one just keeps going, and it's like
it's a
yes.
solid like 10, 13-minute scene of just them fighting, and it's brutal, but it's the beginning of it.
Dexter.
It's the beginning of it that I like the most of it, though, is where they're fist to fist, like
Fisticuffs.
like dude, just straight hitting each other. Dude, it was just all
Fists
that
were in
fight.
cuffs. Nice. What about you, Josh?
I mean, same, but if I'm going to throw in a different scene, it would be the one that Tyler was talking about at the college, where he's in that, like, bridge room or whatever.
They throw
And, like, the smoke
yeah.
goes in there, and they kind of hide him and keep him in the shadows for a bit.
I love
in
when they
there,
do
and you
that.
see, like, his hand, like, touch the glass or
Yeah.
whatever. But I really like that fight scene as well.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off that. Just because it was close, I just went with that too. I just battle in like that field, like that whole thing. The Tim Roth, the way he ran at him and just took him on, like remember me, and took him on head on. Was like flipping the air, getting thrown, and he's like landing, he's shooting at him, and then he's doing a cartwheel over him. Like unbelievable, but I don't really give a fuck. It's cool as fuck. And then in MCU, even if it's not like superhero mode, like I always give even the human characters like a little more of a nod to some degree if they're supposed to be a badass, because it is a superhero universe after all, so you're already throwing a lot of believability at the door, as long as it's not stretching it too far. And again, like the fucking sound wave type thing, the way like the Hulk was like in it like that was fucking dope.
Found a way to beat it.
Yeah, that whole scene was dope as fuck. But yeah, the infight scene for sure. I had a toss up there, and since it was a toss up, I was like, let me go with the one maybe other people won't say, and I try to give a light to the ones that maybe not be as popular in the film.
Yeah, this
If it's
just
close.
there's no really way of getting around it. It's just like, for me personally, just because like, dude, I cheese every time during that final battle. Like, there's been times where I'll just go straight to that battle and skip the rest of the movie. You know,
It's a good way to do it. It's not a good movie.
Tyler, what's your
Yeah.
favorite action scene?
Yeah, definitely the Hulk versus Abomination. Because the other one was my favorite scene, and then this one is
You're just like, let me
The
do
fight
two
scene
action
was dope. It was
sequences.
so cool seeing someone that was looked similar or
Right.
more powerful than the Hulk.
Yeah, it was dope.
Hulk.
See a formidable
Smash.
foe, you know?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, if Roth wasn't already taking him on in human form,
Yeah.
like, what can he do? Is the Abomination.
I really liked that Roth was in this.
Yeah, me too, dude. Good shit. All right. What about them titties?
Yeah, none.
No titties.
So, hey, we've always heard
Hulk
about
titties?
Hulk titties.
did you not
yeah.
watch the director's cut?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there's
It's like a
everywhere
porno,
in there.
dude.
Yeah, basically.
He's just like, Hulk smash! He's just going to town like left and right. It's crazy. He killed like three.
serious?
He actually killed 3 different actresses before they finally settled on Liv Tyler. And they're like, we're just not going to be able to have this in the movie. Because they didn't use CGI on the Hulk.
That's what, it was
Or the Hulk
crazy.
dick.
Ed Norton had to train 27 hours a day and eat
Yeah,
17
not only-
million calories
Not
to prepare for his role as the Hulk.
Yeah, he only got to sniff an apple at lunchtime. Like he,
Exactly.
it was insane, dude.
For
Like
27 hours of the day.
Yeah, and that's what's fucked up. It wasn't even the transformation. He had to not only do so much workouts that like it wasn't just the transformation. It was getting the transformation, having the ability to like come to regular and then flip it with just one flex into Hulk mode. Very interesting fact a lot of people don't know about the film. Yeah. So there's no titties.
No, there's none.
All right.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm sorry. Like,
You should be.
I should.
You directed it, didn't you?
yeah.
So this movie is filmed in. There's some scenes filmed in New
Brazil
York.
and shit?
Some's filmed in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, but it's mainly filmed in Ontario, Canada, specifically in Toronto.
Oh, Canada.
That's where they film most of this movie. It's taking place in Brazil. There's a little bit in Guatemala, and then Culver University, which was the college, and doing some research, I figured out that is in Virginia.
Huh. Huh. Virginia.
So it's a real school.
What is Virginia?
Westford, somewhere out in West Virginia. Mac Miller. Okay. Yeah. Best unimportant scene.
Ooh.
This was I always try to find something even more oddball than this, but I mean it's not really important, but it also kind of is. Giving Ferrigno the pizza. Gotta give a shout out to that. That was cool as shit.
Yeah.
So they did a couple things like nodding to the Hulk, like when she buys him those purple pants, and he's like, "I ain't wearing those." Like that was a kind of
The
a nod
comic
back,
accurate.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, eh?
Yeah.
I read a couple
get
other
it.
things that they did as well.
Did you
but
get that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, interesting. What about Dringiest or Crumbest moments?
Well, I do have one, and it's also in the helicopter.
The whole deleted scenes.
Fucking so, he jumps out the helicopter, falls to the ground, and then Hulk's hand comes out of the concrete. And tell me why Ross can see that from in the helicopter, however the fucking high they are up in the air. As soon as Hulk's hand comes out, he's like, oh, "Betty, look," and it's like, dude, you can't see his fucking hand from that high. Like,
You
it's
don't know
just-
his vision.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
his vision, and it's not good.
They're called binoculars.
It's 40-40, dude. Jeez.
Like,
dude.
he
That was-
actually
Even
has a
watch the
pair on in
movie?
that scene.
That was my dumb cringe moment.
Nice.
Oh, I
That's
cringed
a
so
cringy
hard at
take.
that.
No, I'm just playing.
Any goof style?
Good lord.
There's a
You-
few goofs.
Yeah, let's move on to that goofy ass take.
The, the facial hair on Blonsky and Ross violates military regulations. Is this true?
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
this
don't.
true?
What was their facial hair? You're only allowed to have a mustache. It can't go out past your lips.
Well,
Oh.
theirs definitely did because they
Like out the
violated
You're only
military.
scared to.
I can't do that.
The Polar F5 heart rate monitor watch that used by Bruce Banner requires a wireless chest sensor in order to monitor a heart rate.
Tony
There
Stark
are
could take
several
care of that.
scenes where the chest sensor is clearly not present, yet the watch shows his current heart rate.
They fucked up.
What idiots.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I was about to
And
say,
then
is that
we-
it? He's like, you said,
No,
oh yeah.
This
like,
one
it's
we
still my
kind of
turn.
already touched. Shortly after becoming the Hulk in the factory scene, Banner's trousers are full length. Then in the next scene, they are knee length shorts. However, it's not inconceivable when a 6-foot person, Bruce, grows to 9
Stretches.
foot Hulk.
That's what I was about to say.
While adding huge muscle mass, trousers would appear to be shorts. And this is a reoccurring image in the comic book.
Is that what makes trousers trousers?
Trouser, yeah. Trousers.
So that's how it's done.
Let's hear about these shitty deleted scenes.
Yeah, cutting room floor material. I was gonna try to pick one. There's like 28 deleted scenes. I was like, I was like, I'm really trying to start another movie. I was just like, oh god. It was a bunch of extended, needless cutting room floor stuff. There's like different versions of him delivering the pizza. It was terrible. I'm talking about that specific bad one. There's one where he like goes up and delivers a pizza to these kids, and they're like working on math or something in the background. He's like, the answer's 48, and they're like, and he just walks away, and it's like, okay. And then there's another one where these like hot chicks are throwing a party in the dorm,
Yeah.
and he's talking to him. He's just like, hey, I got you guys a pizza or whatever. And they're just like, he's like, well, could I get some money? He's like, have you talked to Rick about it? Have you talked to Rick? And then she's like, I don't know a Rick. And he's like, maybe I can call him. Do you know a number? And he's like, he just kind of lets things go. And then he's just like, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Are you
Because he's like,
serious?
yeah, these fucking like college girls. She's like, what are you gonna do?
They're like, we can repay you in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have any money.
Yeah, it was so, like that would have
This
been.
is where the porn
That would have been undoubtedly the cringiest moment. Like him's like, you wouldn't like me. I'm like, this whole thing is cringe the fuck out. And then when he walks away, after they slam the door in his face, there's like this frat bro, like typical frat. He's like, wow, man, you gonna let him talk to you like
Are you
that?
serious?
Yeah, and
This
then,
sounds like the worst scene ever.
yeah, it was. And then he's just like, yeah, I let this one slide. And then like walks away.
I didn't
It's
murder
like,
him today.
God, glad you deleted that.
That makes me want to watch that scene. now.
I want to see it too.
It's good
Like,
stuff.
That sounds
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, check
so
it out.
bad it's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Different variations of pizza delivery. And then it's like one. It's like they watch both of those. Like, just fucking call up Lou Ferrigno and hand him the fucking pizza. 'Cause that'll work. Yeah, crazy shit. Did the ending deliver though? Yes. The ending delivered.
Yeah.
Got to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. We already talked about how badass the end fight was.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough alone. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
everything around it was fine. I did like Hulk too when he was like escaping and shit. And he was like jumping from building to building,
that
and
was
like
dope.
ripping into it.
Yeah.
Very fucking cool. What about everybody else?
I
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, same. We kind of already talked about that in battle with our favorite scenes. So yeah, it absolutely delivered.
Delivered for me.
Delivered for me.
Nice.
It's a queen sweep right there.
Yeah, for real.
I like
On
that.
to some trivia.
Yes, sir.
All right. Should you want me to like stump you all right out of the gates or save that
I don't
till
know.
last?
This is my favorite part of the whole.
So save it till
Mhm.
last. All right. So we all know who Mr. Blue in the movie.
Yes.
Are they even listening?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Save
found the
Stearns.
deleted scene. I had to point
What?
out to him.
Where does he live in the movie?
Mr.
Seattle.
Blue?
Yeah.
Is this like a take on Reservoir Dogs, which Tim Roth was in?
When,
Seattle.
When Mr. Green goes to see him, he goes to a state city.
Virginia.
Where did he go to see him?
Yeah, I'm saying Seattle.
Pennsylvania. I have no idea.
Virginia.
Washington, D.C.
Nice.
That's
I
where
was
you
so
live.
close.
You said Virginia? Who said Virginia?
That'd be such a cool place to live.
I said Seattle.
Who said
Where?
Virginia? He did.
Washington D.C.
And then
You
he
got
was
so
actually
much
really
cool
cool.
shit there.
Yeah, I've been inside of.
All right,
Yeah.
so
The
at
White
the
House.
end of the movie,
Been
to
close.
escape the government, Bruce travels to a destination. At the very end of the movie, where did he go to escape?
It was
Narnia.
The woods, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was woods.
It was
He
that
was
cabin.
in a cabin. Where
Yeah.
was it though?
Oh.
Seattle?
Oh, fuck it. I'll just say Seattle. I'll just say it. I have no idea.
I'll say West Virginia.
I'll say Virginia. We just like swap each other's answers from the last one.
British Columbia. He
I
went
knew
to
that.
Canada.
Instead of D.C.,
Dang.
he
It
went to
says it
B.C.
across the
Yeah, I
screen,
know.
British
And
Columbia.
you said it was like filmed.
All right, now last question. So
What color is the Hulk?
Gamma radiation gives Bruce his powers, which
Yes.
that is a electromagnetic form of radiation. Name the other three types of radiation.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Nuclear.
I'm not really up to date with my radiations.
Give me a second. I know all three. No, I'm just naming. I
One
don't-
starts
it's-
with an A, one starts with a B, one
Atomic.
starts with an N.
Yeah,
Asshole
nuclear is one.
radiation.
Biochemical and
An A?
electrical.
And then was it an
Come
A?
on, Rodney, go 3 for 3.
it's not 3 for 3. Biochemical is. I feel like that's off.
Chemical.
We'll just say planetary.
No, it's an A, ain't it?
A.
Yeah.
Starts with an A.
Oh,
There's an
A.
A in there.
Anti-planetarium.
Atomic.
Planetarium.
No. Augmented.
Applebee's.
Atrophy.
It's alpha, beta, and neutrons.
I knew it. Fuck,
Alpha,
man.
beta, and
He
what?
nailed it, bro.
And neutrons.
Neutrons.
Jimmy Neutron. Nice. Okay.
Dang, that was like.
Y'all went 0 for 3.
Yeah,
So
Rodney.
You'll do better next movie.
I know you're ready, right?
Yeah, definitely. So Rotten Tomatoes for The Incredible Hulk scores at a 67% critic
Mm-hmm.
with a 70% audience, and IMDb gives it a 6.6.
Dang.
So, yeah, it seems like there's a level of sixes going on.
Doesn't surprise me.
I
It
mean,
makes sense.
it doesn't surprise me because I know this movie's hated on, and I guess we can segue into the scores.
By
but
Marvel
like,
standards, for sure.
but like, this movie I think's unfairly hated on. Like,
I
I
agree.
really like.
I'm
this
gonna
movie.
use Marty McFly. I'm gonna quote him when he
Did you
did
get copyright?
when he did the guitar solo and broke it
yeah,
down.
yeah,
He
yeah.
just looked at the crowd and they were like, "What the hell?" He's like, "I guess y'all aren't ready for that yet."
Yeah.
That's
But
exactly what it is.
I think this movie's solid. I think one reason it gets hated on is because of the change of Bruce Banner. I think
Yeah.
people look back at it and don't like it because of that.
They want it to be Ruffalo.
But
they want Ruffalo to be
I think
there.
this movie's pretty solid. I give it a 7.3.
Nice.
I'll go next. I gave it a 7.5. So
Ooh.
we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah.
Same wavelengths there.
Yep.
I'll go on to go next, and I actually give it a 7.5.
Shut up.
Nice. Okay.
swear.
This is pretty neat.
And I'll go next, and I actually gave this a 7.3.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
We do not talk about our scores.
That's crazy. I don't think we've ever agreed on a movie that
So closely.
Dude,
Yeah.
no, literally, like
That's
each of us had the
nice.
same exact.
Dude, we're making history here, folks, and you're
He's like,
witnessing
we all
it.
got. Wait a minute, what happened?
So, a couple additional things. Who'd you say directed it, Rodney?
Louis Leterrier.
So yeah, he actually wanted Mark Ruffalo to play Bruce Banner in this movie, but they went with Ed Norton.
Well, that's
And
crazy.
then that's how Mark Ruffalo.
From
ended up getting it.
camaraderie, though. Damn.
After.
that'd
Edward
be
Norton
cool.
just got too hands on with shit. Like he wanted
He changed, like, the
writing,
whole script,
like
I
yeah,
think,
he
for the
wanted
movie.
he wanted to write his Incredible Hulk, and it's like no, you do Kevin Feige's Incredible Hulk,
Yeah,
and
100%.
then we'll see.
I
I
got.
don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting.
No, it is for sure. I think I've heard that before, but it was one of those things I had to like unlock from my deep memory bank because I haven't heard it in so long.
I feel
And
like-
then also, this Hulk, his face isn't modeled after the person that's playing Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Where like all the other Hulks, it was saying is like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Hulk's
looks-
face is modeled after Mark Ruffalo. This Hulk's was not.
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like this movie wouldn't get hated on so much if that actually happened. If Mark Ruffalo
Well,
did.
here's kind of an additional point for me, but kind of more pertains to the score. This movie has feels like I always like it, but it's different every watch for me. Like Hulk is my favorite superhero, not Marvel superhero, but superhero like growing up and I guess in general. Even though I'm not a huge superhero guy, but every time I watch this movie, sometimes it's in the 6s, sometimes it's like in the mid-7s. It's never quite great, but it always like depends on my mood. Sometimes I watch this movie and I'm like watching it amongst these other ones. It doesn't really fit necessarily like the flow of the other MCU movies to me. There's something like a little bit different about it. They hadn't really hit their stride and known exactly what they wanted quite yet, and I do feel that black sheep feeling about it, and that kind of lowers it. Other times I watch it and I give it more of like a 7, in the mid-7 range, because I actually appreciate that about it. Like I'm like, it's kind of a change of pace. It's kind of different. Because like last time I watched it, I was like, this is like not as good as I remember. Why'd I give it like a 7? And I watched it again and I kind of realized that. I think it just depends on my mood. I don't know if y'all have that same relationship with it or not, but
It definitely looks like the Black Sheep when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's older than Iron Man. Like Iron Man looks like it's a newer movie than the
They
Hulk.
both
but
came out in
well,
2008.
Iron Man came out first.
Yeah, Iron Man was 2008.
This was
yeah,
2008.
I think they were both for
Same
2008.
year,
This one
yeah.
just came out like a few months
But it
later.
looks like it's
Yeah.
multiple years older than Iron Man just by
Yeah, it
the
does.
look of it.
It's also a lot darker than your typical
Mm-hmm.
MCU movie.
No doubt about it. Yeah, all right.
Ready
We
for
ready
some
to
Thor?
move on to Thor?
Can we get this over
Let's
with?
just jump straight into score. No, I'm just kidding. Intro, Thor. All right.
Plot. As the son of Odin, king of the Norse gods, Thor will soon inherit the throne of Asgard from his aging father. However, on the day that he is to be crowned, Thor reacts with brutality when the gods' enemies, the frost giants, enter the palace in violation of their treaty. As punishment, Odin banishes Thor to Earth, while Loki, Thor's brother, plots mischief in Asgard. Thor, now stripped of his powers, faces his greatest threat.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
This came in at 1 hour 55 minutes. Came out in 2011. Budget, I'm just gonna say 150 million, same as Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want to guess what it grossed?
Made 378.
Did you watch last week's episode?
500.
Okay, Rodney, you're up.
270.
Brandon is close. 450.
I figured this one would raise the bar a
Yeah.
little bit. Nice.
I wonder if it got any awards.
Nah, didn't get.
And the actors, too. You
It-
can
it
do
didn't-
awards first.
It didn't
though,
get any
right?
awards, but this movie has an award-worthy cast in it.
Who would that be?
Well, you got Anthony
That segue.
Hopkins as Odin,
Hannibal fame.
Stellan Skarsgård as Dr. Eric Selvig.
He got his arm bit off in Deep Blue Sea.
You got Natalie Portman as Jane.
Love her.
Aliens attack.
Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Ooh, King Kong.
Idris Elba as Heimdall. Yeah.
No Good Deed. I'd name like the worst movie to be first.
It's
Some
awful.
shit.
And then, of course, playing Thor is Chris Hemsworth. And
Never heard of him.
directed by the amazing Kenneth Branagh. And
Kenneth Brown Eye?
Kenneth Branagh.
Brown Eye.
Branagh.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no awards, even though it has potential cast like with. So.
Every one of these.
An award-winning cast.
Quick fun fact, because I'll forget it by additional points. It's not really a fact, but I was thinking about that when I was watching these. Like, this might be like our section of 4 movies that might be like the shortest. Like, Avengers is like long, but this is 3 out of these 4 movies is under 2 hours. It's close to 2 hours, but I don't know. That was something I thought about. I was like, oh shit.
The later movies get longer, I feel
Oh
like.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. I think these are like
They
this might
should.
be like the only 3 movies that are under 2 hours.
Ant-Man. We talked about
Is
this
it?
last time in some other.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah, but
An hour
that's
50
a
for
random kind of a cool fact-ish. I thought about that every time I check the time on them. Favorite character? For me, I try to stray away from the lead character, but I couldn't hear. Thor is my man. That's my guy. Muscles. Ooh.
yeah, Thor for
Yeah,
me too.
he's the shit. Chris Hemsworth definitely embodies this role. They just have perfect casting for their leads in these movies. They always do.
Who
Yeah.
you got, Rodney?
Loki. Dude, Tom Hiddleston coming
No-
into play
does
a
not
character
surprise
like
me
Loki.
at all.
Dude, he blew my mind. You know, like, he is Loki. Like,
Yeah, we talked about that
yeah,
earlier.
we talked about it earlier.
I was sitting there, I was like, hear me out real quick. I know there's like a few people you're like, you could never replace them, but nobody ever talks about Tom Hiddleston as Loki, I feel like. Like,
Yeah,
that
that's
might
right,
low
it's
key be like somebody you could never fucking replace as that character. Like, on that level, like, legitimately.
So, when I was about to write my answer down, I was going to write Loki. But then I paused and thought about it for a second. And this was the first movie I found myself, when answering these, looking ahead. So just off this movie, I don't love Loki yet. I know what he becomes, so that's why I liked him so much. So I had to, like, pull that back, and I couldn't put Loki down for this movie specifically.
Spoiler alert, I did the exact same thing.
Dude, me too. That's what I
But
did.
to be honest with you, I do not like this cast of characters.
Really?
Like, I find them very hard to like in this movie particular.
You
I
don't
don't like Thor in this movie. I don't think he's likable.
This shocks me.
Natalie Portman, I feel like they underutilized her a lot. For as big of an actress as she is, I almost forget that she's
they were
Natalie
building
Portman.
her up because
I
we
know.
knew she was going to be a part of it for a while.
I know, but still, for this movie, I'm just saying, particularly for this. So, my favorite character would be Heimdall, Idris Elba.
Yeah, I
know
like
he
that
wasn't
pick.
in it too much. But
He's a
when he
badass.
was,
Yeah.
he's a complete
Just-
badass, and he would be my favorite.
The
character.
fact that he's just willing to do anything to guard this gate, like
Yeah,
nothing gets
you
by.
ain't coming
It's so
through.
bad, and the way he just
He
like
sees
looks out,
everything.
and it's fucking dope. And yeah, that's funny how complete opposite people can be. Because like for me, out of like the beginning stages, this is easily like my favorite overall cast. Like everybody, like everybody else, and like the other movies like Captain America and Iron Man we did, I was like, I kind of just like the leads, and everybody else can go by the wayside.
You didn't like
Here-
Darcy?
No,
From
I'm talking.
Comic Relief.
I'm talking about. I just
I think
said.
she is, like,
oh,
the
you're
best
talking him or me?
comic relief.
Yeah,
No, I
she's
agree.
great.
Yeah,
I like
not
all of them.
not a likable cast to me yet, at least.
Beautiful. And everybody said their favorite characters,
Yeah.
correct? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite scene. I'll let one of y'all go.
I'll go. I love the scene when Thor's hammer's like buried in the dirt, and like the whole town comes out to try to pull it out. Then they're using trucks and everything, and it won't move. I just thought that was really badass
No, yeah, it's good shit.
for the hammer.
Like they're having a fucking tailgate.
Yeah, they're
trying to pull his hammer
barbecuing
out.
and they're having a great time.
Fuck it. I'll go.
I bet you say the same as mine.
For me, it's actually you could all. I think it plays as its own character, Asgard.
Yes.
Asgard is the most beautiful thing about this whole MCU by a mile to me. It is amazing world building. The look of it, it's absolutely beautiful. I can literally just look at that bridge and just be in awe. Like the way the colors
Rainbow
are in
Road.
it, it's fucking beautiful. So for me, it's the trip to Jotunheim when they first like fucking take off and they're on their way and they're fucking charging down that bridge. That's like the first moment. Like I was already like in awe, but then you pick it up with like a soon to be action sequence. I was like, wow, this is fucking dope. And then you see like what Heimdall, Heimdall,
Heimdall, I think.
yeah, I think it's Heimdall. Just in case I was wrong, I just started saying other things similar. Yeah, and you see like what he has and the way he can just project them to play. It's just, yeah, that's the scene where I was like, oh man, this world just even grew for me.
Something you just said reminded me of something. When they are going down that bridge, they're riding horses. Do gods not have a more efficient way of traveling than horses? Did any of y'all think of that when you were watching it? I feel like there'd be a more efficient, like
Thor
magic
can literally just
carpets or
go,
something.
and he's just like, let's ride a fucking
They're gonna ride
horse.
horses, which we were using in
It's
the
more poetic.
1600s.
We wanted to see him
transportation.
trot across that bridge, man. Feet to the bridge had to be made.
They're
Yeah.
magical horses from Asgard.
Magic horses.
My favorite scene, I guess, would kind of go in with my action scene, but it would be that opening fight scene after they travel that bridge with the frost people,
Yeah.
or whatever at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then the giant. What was that creature?
I forget his
I
name. I know what
don't
you're
even know if
talking
it has a
about,
name.
but it's
Do they
cool
ever-
as fuck.
Yeah.
What, the rock giant?
No. The big.
Yeah, whatever that
Mythical
pops up,
creature
like, while
with
they're
the
on-
huge
they're on
mouth
the
and-
rocks and shit.
Oh,
It comes out of the like ice.
I don't know.
I don't think they ever really name it, to be honest. But that thing was dope.
Just a monster.
Hey Siri. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. What about favorite action sequence? I'll just jump into this. Definitely Thor versus Loki, and again, it has a lot to do with Asgard. Okay, there's someone outside, I think. Maybe my brother. My brother might be coming home. That makes sense. Okay, that tripped me out because I was like, no one's in this weather, so it's even more creepy. We got snow everywhere outside, guys. We'll talk more about that on Monday Mayhem, or check out Monday Mayhem's episode for more about that. Yeah, again, it's the fight, the fact that it's like on that bridge. It's brief and it's short, but it's well done for what it is. And then also what concludes that, how they're like, Thor's like hanging on to Loki, and Loki just the emotion of that, him just like letting go. It's just an amazing overall scene and just a beautiful action sequence, and you can't forget. To me, it's like iconic. Him just fucking like, it was just badass. Like how Thor can only pick up his hammer, of course, and he just like places it down on Loki's chest and walks away. Like that's just badass to me. I dig the fuck out of that. That is my favorite action sequence.
God, that would give me claustrophobia.
I'd be
Just
like,
giant hammer on your
something
chest?
that small just on my chest and like I can't move.
maybe it wasn't
Like,
my
it'd be
brother because no
seems
one's
so
in here
simple.
yet. It's weird. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that's my favorite action fight scene, Thor and Loki.
Rodney?
When Hulk fights the wolf on that bridge.
Hulk.
You're a couple movies ahead.
Yeah, dude.
I have no idea, dude. I don't know what my favorite action scene in this movie is. I
pretty
kind of
tough.
liked them all, honestly. I really don't have like a certain.
Do one that's different than that one. Then. Maybe like that one thing in the city that like shoots fire out of its fucking face.
Yeah, just say that one, dude.
Yeah, do that one.
All right,
He's
yeah,
got it.
We'll
The
say,
end one.
We'll say with the.
Actually, I love that scene. Though, too. It
Odin's
was good shit.
Odin's bot.
You think it's like powered down, and then like that girl's on top, and he just turns around. And
Yeah,
just
that was
keeps
sick.
shooting. It's like, oh my god.
Because then, Thor has that suit up moment where he gets all of his armor and shit back, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I'll say that.
Rodney loves his suit ups for sure.
Dude, suit up scenes are the shit.
Any boobs, Tyler?
Did you have a favorite?
Yeah,
action?
I started it because my favorite action was my favorite scene.
Okay, you just
No, I didn't see
No-
any.
no boobs?
I didn't see any in this one, guys.
Damn.
That's ridiculous.
God, dude, these movies are just failing.
So where was this movie filmed? It was filmed in New Mexico and Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles.
It takes place in New Mexico and then Asgard,
Yeah.
which is not real, in case you were wondering.
You don't know
What
that.
the fuck,
It
dude?
could be.
I wish it was, though. I'd live
You
there.
never know.
I'd just play on the bridge all day.
You get eaten alive.
Yeah, I'd probably stay indoors and not live there. Nice. Best unimportant scene. For me, I just chose something simple. I just enjoyed Skarsgård and Hemsworth chugging beers together.
Yeah.
Something so simple, but just two guys chilling out, almost like they're chugging a chug race. I dug it all. I dug that. That was good. Not so important scene of the story, but I'm glad it was in there, as simple as it was.
Oh yeah.
Cringe?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. What? Oh,
None.
no. Hey.
No cringe or dumb moments for me on this one.
Not at all, huh?
No. There was no moment in this movie where I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Or like,
Even when they were riding horses?
Well, now we will.
no, because Valkyrie ride horses. But those are Pegasus, though. So,
At least
Yeah.
make them unicorns. Wait, were they unicorns? I didn't
could
even
It would
Yeah.
fit with the
magical
colorful
horses.
bridge.
They could have had horns.
Real
on.
question is there someone outside? Because my brother would have been in here by now. But yeah, go on. Unless he slipped and fell, and that's what that boom was. He's just out there like, please help.
I hear
Free-
squeaking.
His neck's just free.
Do
I
you
think
hear a
it-
squeak?
I think it's Josh. He's got a mouse in his pocket.
Oh.
Nice, dude.
Do you go on Goose, Tyler? No?
Yeah, I got a couple.
You got okay.
Thor is soaked and covered with mud when he drops down in front of the hammer in the shield enclosure. When he is led away by the guards, the shots of a very clean man in a clear navy blue top, so he was completely clean after that.
Yeah. Take the shot, Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, Jesus. Thor is holding his hammer in his right hand when he comes to the Bifrost and confronts Loki. When Loki sends him flying and he falls on his back and his hammer hits the floor, the hammer's in his left hand. And then, and then it's back in his right hand after
You
he
got your
gets
cringe
up.
moment. You want to go back?
yeah, that's my new cringe moment.
God, dude. He just had to be ambidextrous.
On a shield monitor, perimeter is spelled perimeter.
Idiots.
That's a good one.
Stupid.
The last one, I guess I'll go with this one. When the hammer racing towards Thor breaks the sound barrier, you hear the thump before the hammer arrives. Not going to happen. Slight, light, very fast, then hammer. Last, the sound arrives. So they messed up on sound.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Idiots.
With that budget.
You think they'd have someone checking that stuff, right?
Yeah. Insane in the membrane, yes. Deleted scenes. Wasn't anything too noteworthy here in deleted scenes. I mean, there was like little things, you know, here and there, but nothing too special. I just chose an extension of my unimportant scene. There's a scene where Skarsgård and Hemsworth, you know, he takes them home drunk, where they're just kind of like dancing in the streets together outside the bar, and then that's when Skarsgård collapses and Thor picks him up like he's a fucking baby over his shoulder. And it basically shows what happens before that. I actually liked that. Wouldn't have minded it in the movie. It would have been fine. Another 30 seconds showing them having fun outside the bar. Actually, that's like the first deleted scene that we've done where some of them have just been downright bad. There's been a couple where it's been like, that'd have been cool in like an alternate ending, but don't leave it in. Since this one was so brief and it was like, you know, like, that nothing wrong with it, I wouldn't have minded it staying in. Yeah. Did the ending deliver, though?
Yes.
Tyler, go.
Where are you going?
Tyler.
Just checking?
Tyler's got to take a shit off the porch. No, God, that was cold. For me, yeah, the ending delivered for sure. Stop playing footsie with me, bro. You got shoes on. You're going to win. Yeah. What I was talking about with Loki and the emotion of the ending, him falling, and Loki, like, all that good shit. A lot of these endings, like, all this whole fucking all this shit blends together to me to some degree. We're watching them back to back to back to back to back. I'm trying to remember
Especially
honestly
when you watch two
what even
Thors.
happened. Yeah, like what even happened. I left out. I was like, maybe this deleted scene. But I was like, was that in the fucking Dark World or this one? I can't remember.
Well, you want me to go while you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
can go ahead. I really
Did the ending deliver? It did not for me. I was let down with that final battle, with that Rodney's favorite scene that we came up with on the spot. I was wanting so much more with that. I felt like there was a lot of potential there with that creature or whatever it was, and I didn't get it. Also, I did not buy Thor's, I guess you would say, character development at the end, where he was this arrogant demigod the whole movie, and then all of a sudden he's willing to sacrifice himself so that everybody else lives, pulling like a Captain America.
It's because
moment.
he became worthy again.
Didn't after she gazed under the stars with Natalie Portman for a night, like I just didn't buy the whole. That's what it seemed like.
I just don't buy stars.
Gazed under the stars with her.
Shit.
They fall in love all of a sudden, and then he's willing to kill himself so that she. Like I just didn't buy that. So ending did not deliver for me.
Needless to say, you didn't buy the movie either.
I
thought-
think the ending delivered.
Yeah, I thought it did.
Most definitely for me. Yeah.
I thought, the way his emotion between him and Loki
Talking to your
Bridge
mic.
was, dude, it was tough.
It
I was
good
like,
stuff.
fuck, man, Loki, why do you gotta be such a dumbass for? You'd be not falling off a bridge, or not. Like,
And he
letting
chose
go.
to, yeah.
not. Letting
I love that choice too. That he didn't like slip and fall, or they let him go. He was just like, all right,
I'm out, deuces.
nah, falling into the whole wormhole. Yeah, no, that was good shit.
Tyler.
Love that.
Yeah, I thought it delivered. The whole thing with Thor and Loki is just what put it over, made it deliver for me. If Loki wasn't even a part of this movie, then no, I wouldn't like it at all.
Yeah, but then they'd have a new villain, and that probably delivered too.
Yeah, with Thor.
He's like, damn it, yeah, I guess, yeah, damn it. Nah, yeah, it was all good, for sure. Trivia.
All right, trivia time. When Thor is preparing to leave Jotunheim, a frost giant taunts Thor and says, "Run back home, blank." What does he call Thor?
Boy.
It was when he pisses Thor off or whatever.
Boy.
Seattle.
Run back home to Seattle or just Seattle? Ooh, I'm still going to say Seattle.
I'll
Run
say
back home, Seattle.
child.
Little princess.
That's what it was.
Shit, I was
Yeah.
so close.
And I love, like, fucking Loki's reaction there, too. Like, he knew immediately that it was fucked. He was just like, come on, no, we will appreciate that gracious offer. And then as soon as he turns around, it's like, little princess. He's like, shit, whatever he says. It's great.
Second question. Many actors came close to playing Thor before Chris Hemsworth. Can you all name any?
Tom
of
Hiddleston.
them?
Brad Pitt.
So
Feel like
Tom
he'd be a great
Hiddleston
one,
wanted to
too
play
old.
Thor.
Yeah.
When he auditioned, they were like, "No, you're playing Loki."
Mm-hmm.
Can y'all name anybody else? There's a couple I'm looking
I
for.
know I can.
And one that really surprised me.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
You would have forgot some lines or something.
Okay, nah, I'm not going to go there.
I can't think. But I know, like,
Daniel Craig.
Really?
That's interesting.
I think he was the lead for a long time to like
that's wild.
who they wanted to get.
I'm picturing
Channing
him
Tatum,
long hair.
Nah.
Liam
that'd be
Hemsworth,
cool, actually.
Chris's brother.
Oh, I forgot about that one, yeah.
And then the one that surprised me was wrestler Triple H.
Ew.
Wow. Could you imagine,
Oh, this movie
dude?
would have been a bomb.
He's got the look
That-
already.
that
but
I
choice-
think that's the only reason why he was considered is because of his look.
and the
That
build.
choice would have single-handedly ruined the whole
As he's walking
MCU.
toward Loki on the fucking like the bridge, it's like it's time to play the game, and I can play it. That's why they're fighting. They got that plan.
Last question.
Jesus.
Who wanted to play Odin before they went with Anthony Hopkins? And I'll give you kind of a hint.
Morgan Freeman.
The person that wanted to play
Whoever sang the
Odin
song.
gave his seal of approval when they chose Anthony Hopkins. And that'll make sense, I guess, when I tell you the answer.
Brad Pitt.
I'll give you another hint. He's in the movie.
He's in the movie.
Are you talking about The Skarsgård.
Nope.
That's actually a good choice.
Stan Lee.
Oh,
I was
what?
gonna say that. I was like, but that's ridiculous.
He wanted to play Odin, but then they ended up going with Anthony Hopkins, and he signed off on the
That's a great
Anthony
choice.
Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acting, I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been
That's
too big of a
cra-
role. I like him in his little cameos.
They're
Oh,
perfect
Linked are
for him.
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where was he in Thor? I'm trying to remember.
Dude, yeah, I don't remember him in Thor either. I
Uh,
don't even remember him in Dark World.
Dark World, he was in the nursing home or whatever. And he's like, "Can I get my shoe back?"
Yeah, that's right.
he was. I don't know. He was in there somewhere.
Was he in the hospital, maybe?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a
Whatever.
lighter scene.
What we got for tomatoes, Rodney?
Well, critically, Thor gets a 77%, and audience gives it a 76%.
About on par with each
And-
other.
IMDb, on the other hand, gives it a 7.0.
We're in the 7 range.
So 7 range for Thor is what it's looking like. Where
I
y'all
can
at?
see that. I'm curious to hear Josh's take.
Yours?
You want me to go?
Yeah,
You see
go
my
first,
score?
Tyler.
I'll go first.
Not yet,
I
no.
agree with Rotten Tomatoes. I give it a 7.8 out of
Nice.
10.
Nice.
So me
You
and
want me
Rotten
to go?
Tomatoes are pretty good.
Rodney, you go.
Okay, I'll go. I've always loved this movie. Thor is so. Me and you talk about it a lot. This is so underrated. The beauty, the story, everything, the characters. To me personally, were incredible in this movie.
Best yet.
This is an 8.7 for me.
Good. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah. I had it at 8.5 going in. It got
Hang on, pause. Let's
dr-
end on a good note. So let me go first.
dramatically worse, is what I was going to say. But no, yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So all the movies we've watched so far, they've been my favorite viewing, except this one. This was my least favorite viewing of this movie that I've had.
Okay.
This movie was always like a mid-7 for me, mid-low 7. For whatever reason, I was just not into it at all.
gosh.
Any of the characters, nothing.
I could see this coming, and you said that before the podcast.
Yeah, you
So,
did.
like, I pieced it together immediately. I was like, this has got to be it.
I'm giving this a 5.9.
Okay.
Did
Get
not
out.
gel with me at all. And again, I think one big thing was not buying Thor laying his. I don't know. I didn't buy that at all. Maybe buy is not the right word because it's a superhero movie, but I just didn't. I don't
I
know.
honestly thought you were going to say lower, so I'm not superly hurt.
Don't
because of that.
sugarcoat it. You're mad.
All right, Brandon, end this on a good note.
Yeah, this is a 9.7 out of 10. No, it actually bumped down a couple points, but it's still fucking great. I love this movie. It's a 8.3 out of 10. This was easily, as I said earlier, like this is the best cast of characters to this point that we've talked about, I think. Easily for me, like all around. A lot of the other movies, like I like one or two, like everybody in this movie worked for me. And that's a big reason why. And then, of course, Asgard. It's just the scenery and the beauty of it. Just it took a shit on like all the other movies and still does. Yeah, Thor all day. 8.3 out of 10.
On to the
Anybody got
Avengers.
additional points?
Yeah. Nope.
Thor's blonde.
None for this movie.
His hair is slightly shorter in this one.
On to the Avengers. I got a little plot for you.
His hairstyle is like off. It goes from like mid-length to long to short. Just doesn't make sense.
This is the plot for the Avengers. When Thor's evil brother, Loki, gains access to the unlimited power of the energy cube called the Tesseract, Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., initiates a superhero recruitment effort to defeat the unprecedented threat to Earth. Joining Fury's dream team are Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Over to you, Tyler.
This movie clocked in at 2 hours, 23 minutes. Came out in
I thought it
2012.
was 25 minutes.
The budget, $220 million. Do you want to know what the gross is? You
This
take
one
a guess.
grossed a lot.
It did gross a lot. You are correct.
Is this at
A
the
lot,
billions?
a lot.
I'm gonna go. It grossed 1.1 billion.
Okay.
God, probably wrong, but that's where I was gonna go. So I'll go just
How
under
much did this gross? Right?
900 million. I think it's
Avengers.
definitely more
Avengers.
though. But I'm,
$220 million budget.
I'm hanging on to maybe
How
they
much
weren't
did
ready
it
for
gross?
Avengers quite
And it's
yet.
a lot.
Avengers.
It's made
Avengers
for $1 billion.
gross. I think it's like 1.3 billion.
So you're at 1.1. What's the
1.5.
1.5. Okay.
That's fucking shitty. I literally was about to say no, rethink 1.5. I was like,
Dude,
they're
you
gonna
should've
think
said
I'm
it.
nah, but I didn't want to do that. I was just gonna go in the range of that. I didn't want to like. He sounded positive. I'm like, okay, 1.5.
Yeah.
I knew I was.
Awards,
1.5
Rodney? Who's in this
billion.
movie?
Yeah. So Avengers
Thor's in this. He's already though.
did get nominated at the Oscars
I was gonna say this would be the movie.
for visual effects.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Stunning.
The visual effects in this movie were absolutely like they were ahead of its time. I don't know it's still 2012, but you look at visual effects now and visual effects for movies back in 2012, like Avengers was killing it.
It
So-
holds up.
It's
Probably that budget.
It got nominated, but it did not win. So
Well, I wonder what beat it.
What one?
what won?
Do you know what beat it for visual?
Marcy's
I'll look it up
Playhouse.
real quick.
Avatar? Did
No,
Avatar?
Dude,
Avatar was
don't be an
2000.
avatard.
When did Avatar come out?
2000.
2000. I
Okay.
thought it was even earlier than that.
I thought it was
No.
12.
I was thinking it was like mid 2000s. I knew it wasn't 2010, but I think it was like right on the cusp. Really?
Hugo.
I was 18 when that came out. I thought I was
Hugo?
in like middle school when
Hugo
Avatar
beat out
came out.
Avengers.
Oh, I
What
don't
is
know.
Hugo?
Hugo's that animated movie that Martin
Yeah.
Scorsese directed.
Nope.
I
It's
never,
actually really good.
I never watched it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hugo.
Yeah.
Just not the animated guy, I guess.
It's CGI, but it does look good. I don't know if I'd given the well the whole movie is VFX, so I guess I would give it to Hugo at the end of the day, but still contender. The
Yeah.
Avengers.
What are we doing with actors and what have you?
So Avengers was directed by Joss Whedon, which
It's crazy.
is a lot of controversy around his name right now, but he's also given us a beautiful film in Cabin in the Woods, and I will forever be grateful. The cast, Jesus.
Remember seeing that in theaters.
We got a big
Talk
cast
about a
on this.
star-studded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go through these kind of quick. So, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk now. This is where Edward Norton lost his role.
And he should.
Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, Tom Hiddleston Loki, Stellan Skarsgård back as Selvig, Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts, Colby Smulders, Maria Hill, John Favreau as Happy Hogan. And it honestly just goes
I
on.
just got one question.
Yeah.
When you said Chris Evans, why did you say Steve Rogers and not Captain America like you were
don't
saying
know.
all the other
Yeah,
superheroes?
I did say
I was
just
like,
Steve
who's
Rogers.
Steve? Oh, okay.
You were like Iron Man.
Yeah. Is that Mr. Rogers' son?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the director and the cast of the
It's a
movie
beautiful day in
Uh,
the neighborhood.
with a nomination at the Oscars for visual effects.
That's nice. Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess we'll move on to favorite character. Josh. I'm just going to do that to everybody. It's like away from the mic. Just to be like, oh, shit.
It's hard as
Um,
chairs.
For me, I'm going to go with my A1 Day 1 Hulk.
Yes,
Hulk
sir.
in this movie was fucking phenomenal, dude. He was so fucking good. And I'll leave it at that. There'll be more to talk about.
Nah, same Hulk. Any scene he was in, I thought
Yeah.
he killed it. Just watching him just destroy shit is so fun for some reason.
Hulk was great. Loki was also great in this movie. And I give it to Loki and Tony Stark as Iron Man.
Tyler's like the king of like, I know I can only choose one, but here's 5. Like honestly,
I
like,
just agreed with y'all's Hulk and then named 2.
2. I know
So
that's what I'm
3.
saying, but it's always like
So.
like favorite scene. I have
Well, actually,
3.
Captain America and Black Widow. I
It's
just
supposed to
love
be
them
hard to
together
narrow
on
down.
Screen. Hawkeye did amazing. Samuel L. Jackson blew my world.
You know, the whole cast.
So yeah, this was an okay movie.
It's all right.
Rodney?
Mine's actually going to be Tony Stark, Iron Man, because I like the kind of completion of Iron Man 1 and 2 and how he's always talking about,
When they're over,
I'm not
it's great.
fit for a team. I'm not this for a team. I'm not qualified because of this and that. And in this movie, you really get to see how arrogant Tony Stark is
Him
and
and
how
Steve Rogers bump heads. Like,
dude,
it's
tough,
already started.
Yeah,
Who we talking
and I love it. Tony Stark,
Steve
Oh,
Rogers.
Steve
Rogers.
Rogers, yes.
Oh,
Captain America's not in this
Got
movie.
it.
Oh, that's right. Damn, that was a weird choice.
But yeah, so I'd have to say honestly, in this movie, Tony Stark, his character in this movie was awesome. So favorite.
Favorite scenes?
Yeah, I got 2, but I'll just say
I knew
I'll
it.
just say the first one, and then I love when Captain America is fighting Loki, and then Iron Man shows up, and they play that AC/DC song, "Shoot to Thrill." It was so badass to me when he just pulls up with that music out of nowhere.
Yeah, pretty cool shit. For me, it's like an action scene, but it's really like just specifically when Hulk's becoming the Hulk and he's like chasing Natasha, and more specifically when it does the slow mo and he's just running through shit behind her and she's just
Breaking
like,
walls.
yeah, that scene in particular gives me chills every time. I'm like, that is the Hulk I want. Like, it's so beautifully shot watching him running through each fucking thing, just destroying everything in his path. It's not like slowing him down at all. He's just like, it's like there's nothing there. Such a great representation there of
I
the
have
Hulk
that
and his
written down.
strength. That was your other favorite.
No, I actually had 3. I swear I had 3, but that was the third one. So the second one hasn't been said yet.
Good.
My favorite scene, I just have anything with Hulk in it. The one I wrote down after that, I think is one of the more iconic, I guess, funny
I know.
scenes from the MCU.
Yes.
When Loki's like, bow to me, I'm a god, and he grabs him and smashes him. What does he say, like puny god or something
puny
like that?
God.
That gets me every
Yeah,
time.
and Loki's even like,
I love that part.
Tony Stark talking shit to Loki. That was my favorite part
He's
in this
like,
movie.
you want a drink?
Yes, dude, he is.
I love
just
that scene.
A
yeah.
demigod. Like, this is somebody from not Earth, dude. Like, this is a
And
fucking.
he doesn't have his suit on.
Yeah, like, and it's just, and he's getting it ready to be put on and everything, but it's just like, dude, you were like,
He's so.
he's,
He's the coolest
Arrogant,
person on
dude.
Earth. He's the coolest dude
he
ever.
is though. He is. Yeah, I think that whole scene of him and Loki, I think that was brilliant. So
My last favorite scene. Sorry, guys. It's Avengers. I can have more than one. I love Thor's entrance because no one knew about it except Loki. Like when Loki, like his face when he knows Thor's coming, and then Thor shows up. I was like, that's so badass.
what is Coulson says? What are you afraid of? A little thunder? And he goes, I'm not fond of what follows.
Yeah. And then Thor shows up, and they have that little skirmish. It was so dope.
I love a good skirmish.
Such a good scene. Them, all 3 of them.
No
Okay.
doubt.
All right.
Action
Favorite scene?
sequence.
I'm so curious as to. I wonder if everybody's going to be the same or different.
I
or,
had 2.
or what.
Say
Let's
one
hear
of
it.
them.
The first one, Thor versus Iron Man in the woods.
Nice.
That one was dope.
That's it.
I'll say the final fight scene was amazing with all the,
Mm-hmm.
aliens and that big ass one that's like an alligator snake
Flying,
type thing.
yeah.
That's
So
exactly
dope.
like you said, alligator snake type thing. Wow.
Can you imagine being in the city and looking up and seeing that just come in from the sky?
When you're on like the 50th floor of the building, it's
Yeah.
coming right for you.
It's coming right for us.
I said that was my favorite scene, was that in battle. This is the
Right.
first movie where we get like a lengthy battle, I feel like. The Hulk,
Yeah.
somewhat, but it was like the last 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
it feels like, of the movie. is that
Yeah, it
whole
was
battle
great.
in New York, and it hit on every point. And one thing I really love is each superhero gets their like time to shine in it. All the way from Iron Man and Thor down to Hawkeye, they each have a moment where it was their moment. The spotlight's on them.
Yeah.
So I really loved how they did that.
That is one thing that MCU has handled perfectly. Is if it's a movie with multiple characters, they flesh out every single character. Like, there's not one character that's
They let them all shine.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think they have killed it in
The
that
balance
aspect.
is unreal.
Yeah.
And it's even better.
I mean, look at
here to
Infinity
come.
War.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm talking
Dude,
about.
that scene whenever they're like, Hulk, it might be a good time to get angry. And he's like, that's my
I'm always
secret.
angry.
I'm always angry.
And he
And
punches.
then, yeah, he stops that thing, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then that one time Captain America tells Hulk, he tells everyone what to do, and he's like, Hulk, smash. And he's like, got it. He just takes off and starts wrecking shit. It was so dope. Sadly, there were no boobs.
Wait, they didn't go yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just telling
Okay.
you. I was
Gotcha.
I'm getting that out of the way.
sorry.
Yeah.
There's no butts
Your all's
either.
favorite scene?
Mine is Thor, Iron Man, and even Cap at the end in the woods. That was just so dope. I was waiting on my dog Thor to come in. He takes a little longer, but it was a great, intro. Like him to just fuck shit up. That little battle in the woods is dope. Just them just kind of feeling each other out. Just like, oh shit, like,
How
what is this
powerful
guy
are
is
you?
capable of? And like, oh man, this dude's naturally like, what in the
They were
fuck am
all
I dealing with?
formidable for each other too. It seemed like
It was great. And then it was the perfect fucking Cap on the fight with Cap. Him coming, he's like, you want me to put my hammer down? I fucking
Yes.
love that. When he comes down and just goes on there, and it just causes like a fucking nuclear blast. As I was watching, I was like, you could almost see them using that later on in the movie. Like, they're just like, what are we going to do with this guy? And they're just like,
Yeah, I know.
dink, and it just like evaporates everybody in the. Yeah, it's like
They do
ringing a
that
gong.
again.
Do they?
I don't
yeah.
know.
I think so. I
know
they do it
Iron Man
in
uses
Age of
it.
Ultron. They do it a couple times.
Maybe they do, and it was like out of sight. Like it was like in my
Oh,
subconscious.
They do. I just didn't know if
What
I
you
should
got,
say
Rodney?
it.
I am really surprised none of y'all said Hulk versus Thor. Because
That was
that's
my
my
one.
favorite, and not just because of like the fact it's Hulk and Thor.
I wish I would have switched it after he said this because I was torn between those two.
But
I would have went the other way.
When
Yeah, you're
Hulk
right.
smashes down on Thor and Thor's holding his arm up, like trying to hold
Yeah.
the weight of Thor or the Hulk, you can see he's struggling with it. Like that alone shows you how powerful the Hulk is and how powerful they're making the Hulk. And I thought, dude, I felt every punch, everything, dude. Like when he got knocked into the plane.
No, it was dope.
Dude, I'm just like,
Ching.
God.
And then the
dude.
fucking,
him
like-
trying to hold the
Yeah,
hammer.
and then when fucking Hulk
Oh, yeah.
throws the like fucking wing of the plane at him, and he
Yeah.
like does the slide
Yes.
under it.
Dude, that scene was just fucking incredible. That's my favorite.
I
action
remember
scene
I
in
was
the movie.
torn on that one or this one because you can only pick one scene unless you're
Right.
Tyler. And I
you
was
get unlimited
and I was
scenes.
like, I bet somebody's gonna choose that if I had to choose between the two, so I'll choose that one. And then not having it wrote down, it was just I wasn't thinking about it.
But yeah, I love, Rodney, what you said when Hulk tries to pick up Thor's hammer and he can't.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
as strong as Hulk is, he can't even pick
Yeah,
up.
and he's like
He can't
going
make it.
into the
Yeah,
ground,
his feet are going in the
trying.
ground.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I wanted to say this for the Incredible Hulk, but I love the design of Hulk way better in these movies going forward rather than Incredible. Now, I like the design in Incredible Hulk, but I think Hulk is a character that the more thick and like short, stocky kind of like that fits his profile way
I
better.
feel like he always looks good though, dude. Just seeing this huge green mass of just muscle, like it's
Yeah.
just appeasing to
Unless
look
it's
at. But
the
it's
Hulk
better.
that Ang Lee did. That movie was an
Nah,
atrocity.
I don't think it's a good movie, but from what I remember, I think I still like the look of the Hulk.
boobs.
But this is definitely the best.
No, sadly,
He
guys,
said
there aren't
no,
boobs.
no
in this, or
titties.
butts.
All right, this movie was filmed in Albuquerque, New York, Los Angeles, and Cleveland. Never would have thought that it was filmed in Cleveland.
Yeah, I didn't see
Cleveland,
it
Ohio.
coming.
Well, who chooses to go to Cleveland? Waiting
Not
for Brandon
me.
to say something.
Not me. Only if the Cavs are playing.
It takes place in Manhattan, New York, mainly, and then space.
How did they get those space shots?
I think spaceships.
Nice.
Space chips. I'll try some. I always forget about Sam Elliott being in that one.
I know,
Rodney's
as
looking
Ross.
up. Yeah.
Well, I'm
looking
trying to
up
find a
Ang
picture
Lee.
of Ang Lee's Hulk because of how just so terrible, dude.
Yeah. All right.
What do you
Another
got,
movie.
Brandon?
Best unimportant scene, and I got to tell you, it's like I started a sentence and then I stopped. It literally says Thor mentioning. I don't know if that means Thor was mentioning something or if it was like they mentioned Thor and everybody was like, "Oh shit!" Like kind of how we talked about with Loki. It might have been that. I was trying to piece that together, but I'm not. I don't know what the fuck I was looking over this like when y'all were at the top of like intro and shit, and I was like, "What the fuck was Thor
For like
mentioning?"
30 minutes you've been trying to figure
Yeah,
it
I'm
out.
over there. I'm like, what in the fuck was he mentioning? I don't know. Thor was mentioning what? And then once y'all talk about that, it was like the Thor mentioning of Thor. Like maybe that was it. I don't know. I think it might have been because I was like so like hyped and ready for Thor to get in the movie. So yeah, that we're gonna go with that. That's what that was. What about cringiest moments, dumbest moments? What do you got?
Dude, I can't. Every time I watch this movie, I can't get with Hawkeye and his first time doing the flex bow thing. When he's talking to Selvig, the doctor, he's sitting there and he's asking him what he's about to do, and he's standing there and he picks up his bow and then he like looks down and then looks at him and does the flick thing and the bow comes out. I just can't do it. Every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, why did you do that? You look so stupid
So
right
cool.
now.
Like you were good.
Dude,
I just
See that if I had to go back, I didn't want to have more than one favorite scene, personally. But that was my second favorite. Yeah,
I got a corny scene. It's at the very beginning.
I thought he
of the
was
movie.
saying like I got another fucking scene.
No, it's a corny scene at the very beginning. It involves Hawkeye. I think Samuel L. Jackson's like, "Where is he?" And the guy's like, "You know where he is? He's up in his nest."
Oh,
and it's up to
yeah.
him, and he's like holding on to like the bars, just watching everything. I was like, "That's so freaking lame."
What do you got for goofs, though, Tyler?
Okay, goofs. Let's do this in a second.
do that.
Dude, was that you talking? I had my head turned. I thought for sure that was Tyler.
When Steve or Captain America hits
shit.
the heavy bag with his big punch and it goes flying, the chain is supposedly hung from hangs. It says supposedly hung from hangs.
hangs.
Oh, I didn't finish the
You
sentence.
didn't proofread?
Supposedly, it's hung from hangs completely still, which
Hung
feels
from
that the
hangs.
big
Yes.
Proofread.
dude.
Hang
y'all,
on.
y'all think I'm messing it up?
Hang on.
This is exactly how it says it.
Don't say hung.
That's
Just
fine.
say it hangs completely still. Maybe you were like hangs.
No,
hungs.
I
I'll just
read
add both and
The
decide
chain
later.
it's supposedly hung from hangs completely
There it
still.
is.
The chain.
He's reading it
Hung
wrong,
from-
way wrong,
All right, next.
way off.
Okay.
Like the whole segment, or just
When Loki blasts a police car, causing it to no skid then flip. As it comes to rest, you can see some gas still escaping from the location of the compressed air cannon from under the rear of the car.
Did you just say when he hangs the police car when it no skids then flip?
Nose.
Oh,
Can-
no skids. I thought he
causing
did
it to no
again.
skid then
That's on
flip.
me that time, dude.
Come on,
Gotcha.
guys.
No, I get. Yeah, I was like, he did not just say and if no skids then flips.
You can see the blue screens on Bruce Banner's glasses when Tony Stark is talking to him about embracing the Hulk rather than disliking it. So you can see the blue screens.
That's pretty cool.
That's it for freaking
That's it?
Avengers.
Any deleted scenes, Brandon?
I didn't bother. No, this actually is like I wish this in the movie. Maybe they're trying to slow down runtime. When you first meet Captain America is when he no hangs the flip or whatever happened.
Yep.
But there's like some moments before then in these deleted scenes. I could see how they think it could be slow, but it actually would have made me identify with the character even more. It's like Captain America reflecting on his past and shit. He's like looking at like deceased Bucky Barnes. He's looking at like deceased Why am I blanking?
Peggy.
Not
Carter,
Peggy.
Agent Carter?
No, fucking. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, she
Howard
ain't dead
Stark.
yet. Yeah, Howard.
Yeah. He looks at that, sees deceased, and he looks at the next paper, and it says, of course, Tony Stark. Like his son. He's like looking at that, and it's just like, it's playing like some symbolic music, and it's kind of like going through like his emotions, like you can feel it in the scene. He's kind of going through his daily routine. It's not super long, but just long enough. And then it cuts to him going out, basically like eating out, like on a patio type
Oh, I
of.
was like, was this another porno?
On like a patio atmosphere, and he's looking up, and the waitress comes over, and the waitress is like, just like, you waiting for Tony Stark? It's like sometimes he can fly by, and he kind of just looks up like, bitch, I'm a superhero too. Like he didn't really care. He's like, no, I'm just taking in the view. And then like as she walks away, like Stan Lee's like turns around, he's like, you should have got her number, like, or some shit like that, and he's just like looks over and smirks. I thought it was good. And then it cuts to the no hungs hangs scene. It's like a little bit of like bringing us into Captain America and where he's at, adapting to this world, rather than just like like fighting angry. You feel for him a little bit, then you have the good cameo, and like it's just a good scene, just him reflecting, eating by himself, and then you get the punch in the bag. I thought it should have stayed in the movie, honestly. It wasn't too long, and it was not powerful, but it added like a little more, like instead of just watching him punch the bag, I was kind of like, oh, cool, Captain America. I felt like with this, I would have been like, damn, yeah, dude. Reminiscing on what he went through to get to this point a little more. I think it should have stayed in the movie.
Trivia time.
Here we go.
We've seen S.H.I.E.L.D. a bunch through these movies.
Did we do did the ending deliver before?
Oh, no, he didn't. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
Calm down, bro.
Did
See,
we do that?
It happens to the best of
I'm
us.
ready to go.
Yeah, did the ending deliver? Of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
1,000%.
100,000%.
No doubt about it. Simple as that.
Dude,
No.
I
was
think it
like-
delivered. 100%.
Yeah, of course
Well,
it did.
Why'd you hesitate then? If
Do what?
All right, moving on.
Can't see around the dumpster hookah. Beautiful.
Are we done with
Nice.
that? Are we nothing more?
I
Yeah.
mean, it delivered.
I mean, there's one. I was gonna add on additional points, but I'll do
For it.
that later. I'll do that when we're done. It's just like a little scene that's kind
Just
of
do it
around the
tomorrow.
ending. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
All right, we've seen S.H.I.E.L.D. in like all the movies.
Yes.
What does S.H.I.E.L.D. stand for?
Strategic Homeland International
Intergalactic, I think.
something logistics division.
Anybody else?
I read this last week.
Severe-
in my goofs.
Hypocritical, idiotic, evaporating lollipop dicks.
Yes.
Tyler?
That's the
Yeah,
first
I'm not even gonna try. 'Cause
It stands for Strategic
No.
Homeland,
Homeland.
Intervention,
intervention.
Enforcement, and Logistics Division. S.H.I.E.L.D.
dang, that's
Yeah, I about had
that
that.
one's still tough.
All right, so
We're terrible at Marvel trivia.
who trained with an Olympic athlete to prepare for their role in this movie?
Steve Rogers.
That's what I was gonna say, but I
Chris
wanted to
Evans.
think about everybody else first. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Captain America makes the most.
I'll go
sense
Thor.
to me.
Okay, I'm just curious, Tyler, what Olympic athlete did Thor train with for this movie? Like a swimmer?
I don't even
Michael
know
Phelps
any.
is what I immediately thought.
Like,
of.
no,
It's weird you said
not
swimmer.
specific, but like, what
Wha-
type of Olympic athlete is Thor training with to prepare? Like, how does it help him prepare
like
for
a
the role?
like a someone that's real flexible, like a gymnast or something.
All right, who is Captain America training with? Like, what?
Michael
what
Phelps.
do they do? You think he's swimming?
I guess that's what for some reason
I
that
didn't
popped
see
in
him.
my head.
Okay, it was Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye trained with Olympic.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Why didn't we think of that?
Who was it?
I don't know. It's
No, I
Michael
thought you had
Phelps.
an answer.
No.
It was Michael
But
Phelps. I got that
archers.
part
He trained
right.
with
at least.
Olympic archers to prepare for his role. I was trying to help you all with like.
I know.
I'm not
Okay.
that in tune with my Olympias.
Next question. You need two parts. Who was barefoot for most of their scenes, while their counterpart wore 3 to 4 inch platform shoes to make them look taller?
Oh.
Who was barefoot, and who wore the shoes?
Black Widow and the Hulk.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll go
Not that.
Thor and Loki.
So Thor was barefoot, and
Yeah.
Loki was wearing shoes to make him look taller.
Yeah.
Rodney?
Well,
You
they're
could see
both
that.
the same height.
I didn't know that. Thor seems like he was massively taller.
Shit, I don't fucking barefoot. I mean, I would have to go. Shit, goddamn it, I don't know. Chris Evans.
So
There's two
there's two
people.
parts. It's Steve Rogers.
Yeah, you're just like Captain America and Steve
So,
Rogers.
in watching the movie, I noticed she was barefoot, and I was like, "Why is she barefoot?"
Pepper Potts.
Gwyneth Paltrow was barefoot, and Robert Downey Jr. was wearing 3 to 4 inch shoes.
Oh yeah,
She's
he's
so
makes
damn
you look
tall.
taller.
Damn it.
Damn.
And I noticed she was barefoot, and I was like, "Why is she barefoot?"
Yeah, in the house.
in the Stark Tower.
I was
Like,
thinking that. I
didn't-
was like, didn't I see somebody barefoot?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure.
I knew that.
All right, I don't. Have y'all got a single one correct yet?
No, we're
Yeah,
not good at
I
this.
did. I got close.
I nailed the shield thing.
We got tomato scores, Rodney. As your iPad's off, you got 'em written down?
Rotten
Prepared.
Tomatoes, 91% critic, 91% audience, with an IMDb of 8.0.
I like that.
Damn,
8-0?
IMDb.
That's low. I
Yeah.
feel
They're
like.
just hating on these.
So
Scores. Who hasn't went first yet?
8.5 out of 10. This movie, if anything, I think is underrated as an Avengers movie. I might get controversial at some point with this. Just wait. This movie is a home run. Like, coming into this, it was like, oh man, can they really, really like pull this off though? All the stories, which I said they perfected even more in Infinity War, at least on that front, because they just one up themselves. But the way they incorporated everybody, didn't feel like everybody was out of the movie too long. I feel like everybody, like you said, got their due. And just the whole team up. And obviously, honestly, I left that scene out when it plays the Avengers music and they all are in the circle. Fucking chills, dude. It just, yeah, that was like the culmination of all them getting their shine and just becoming one. It was perfectly done. They couldn't have done this any better objectively. There's a few things that don't make it a perfect movie, obviously, for me, but 8.5 is a damn good score. I love this movie.
So yeah, I love this movie. Something I really like about it is they didn't all gel perfectly from like the get go. They bumped heads.
Yeah.
They had to work through their
They all
quarrels
have
or whatever.
egos.
Yeah, they had to figure out how to work with all their egos together. But then when it came time to kick ass or whatever, they
had
got
each
the
other.
job done.
After
And
poor
everyone
Coulson.
everyone got their spotlight. I'm giving this movie a 9.2.
Beautiful.
That's solid. I kind of on the same wavelength as Brandon. I gave it an 8.6. So we're right there.
he likes it a little bit better than you.
God.
Rodney, bring it home with a 9.
I agree with
done.
Rotten Tomatoes, 9.1 out of 10 for me. This movie, this is the best watch I've ever had with this movie.
It's great.
Which is crazy because I've always thought of the first Avengers movie as like an 8.5, 8.7. You know, really, really fucking. It's a great movie. But this time, I don't know what it was. I
Same.
was loving every second of it. So
It's
9.1.
underrated, dude.
It really
like people after Infinity War and
I
fucking
think it's forgotten because of
Yeah,
how
they-
early it came in
Yeah.
the mix.
everybody immediately was like, in-game Infinity War, in-game Infinity War. This one should be
Got some hot takes.
It's
vaulted up there
honestly, Age of Ultron's the most
We'll talk
like
about it.
non-talked about
Yeah.
Avengers movie.
Rightfully
no
so.
doubt.
So
We'll get to that. On to Thor: Dark World.
Additional
Any other
points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple things. One scene we didn't talk about that I absolutely loved that I was going to talk about, but wasn't technically really the end, that involved the Hulk. When he fucking leaps out and jumps onto that jet. And it's like just the fact, just no regard for just free falling. Just leaps onto the jet, it's like hugging it. And then the fucking dope ass creative choice for him to be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he just catches
Grabbed
him
him.
and throws him. That's like fucking amazing. I absolutely love that scene. One of my favorite scenes in MCU. Maybe that should have been on there for my favorite scene. That's my fourth favorite scene. And then this has my favorite post-credit scene, the shawarma shit.
yes,
Dude,
the
it's
restaurant.
the best shit ever. Like, it just, I love how it wasn't anything like serious. It was just them, like their faces, like Iron Man sitting back, like,
That was
They're not
actually
even
Robert Downey
commenting.
Jr.'s idea to do that.
yeah, Thor's just like,
It was fucking
They
dope.
all had their own little thing going on.
There's
It's
eating.
fucking perfection. Y'all kick this one off. I'm gonna try to get this hookah lit. So
There we
stall
go.
as much as you can. Dun, dun, dun. That was almost on my
Thor:
tongue.
The
That sucked.
Dark World.
Oh man,
Thor
let's
the
get this
Dark
over with.
Dang.
I got a little plot line for you.
Let's hear it.
Let's see.
In ancient times, the gods of Asgard fought and won a war against an evil race known as the Dark Elves. The survivors were neutralized, and their ultimate weapon, the Ether, was buried in a secret location. Hundreds of years later, Jane Foster finds the Ether and becomes its host, forcing Thor to bring her to Asgard before Dark Elf Malekith. How do you say his name? Malekith captures her and uses the weapon to destroy the 9 realms, including Earth.
Interesting.
I don't want to watch this movie.
Wow.
I like the plot. The plot's really nice.
This movie clocked in at an hour 52. Came out in 2013. The budget is a whopping 170 million. Here we go, guys. What did it gross?
472.
378.
400.
645 million. So this is a big jump up from the first Thor.
What's next?
So this movie, awards-wise, was 0. There was no awards whatsoever given. Now, I mean, it had the what's it called, the little Saturn Awards or whatever, but it didn't have any kind of Oscar nominations or nothing like that. Cast-wise, you got returning cast. You know, you got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Anthony Hopkins, and Idris Elba, but then you get Kat Dennings,
Darcy.
You get Darcy in this, and which is a great character. But Stellan Skarsgård is back. I don't know
Who
who
played the elf?
plays Malekith.
I know his name. In my research, I didn't know him before that.
I don't know.
Christopher Eccleston.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah, and then you got like Zachary Levi playing Fandral. Jamie Alexander is Sif. I love Lady Sif. Yeah, so you got Renee Russo is Frigga. But yeah, no awards for this movie.
Who's y'all's favorite character? I guess I'll go first. Loki. This is where he goes to another level to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, with the first Thor, I wanted to write him down. I just couldn't yet. Avengers is where he starts to creep up for me. But this Thor movie, Dark World, is where he goes to that next level. You can just tell he's always up to something. He's always planning something one step ahead. I think he was by far my favorite character in this movie.
And I'm going to come in and agree. I did the exact same thing. Loki, this is like a masterpiece of Loki in this movie. It's fucking great. The swings of just like everybody being fooled in the movie on like multiple fronts while you're also sitting there like, do I believe him as an audience member? Like, it's just phenomenal work. Writing and acting, Hiddleston just murders it here. This is his tour de force for me.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Loki.
Wow. Okay. Darcy.
Oh, geez.
Darcy.
That's
I
a Rodney
love
answer.
Darcy.
That's
dude.
so not, though, 'cause this is like Loki's like his kind of guy, and for Loki to do what he did in this movie, it is shocking to me that he went
Right.
away
No,
from-
I love Loki's character in this movie. Loki would be a close second for me, but the comedic relief of Darcy
She's
in
on
this
point.
movie was, it was amazing. Like, everything she did in this movie hit on all cylinders for me. So, yeah, Darcy for me.
They need
She's
to bring
awesome,
her
man.
back for some future Marvel movies.
Oh, that'd be cool if they had a Darcy and Wu show from WandaVision.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. y'all do favorite scenes and work your way around to me because I got to piss and
Oh,
flip this
Jesus.
cold.
I got two.
Oh my god! Man.
I'll say the first one, and Brandon touched on this earlier with the first Thor movie.
He's barefoot. It's fucking snow out there.
When Thor and Loki are flying that ship through Asgard, Asgard just is so beautiful and so big, so massive.
Is this your favorite scene or? Action
Yeah, yeah. Plus adding their banter back and forth between Thor and Loki, where Thor's like, "Who's that one that can actually fly?"
Mm-hmm.
And but Loki's the better like pilot, I guess. That was a very great scene.
So that was my favorite scene as well. When they're escaping Asgard, just like you said, how beautiful Asgard is, and you kind of see it on more of a scope with them flying around, and
Yeah.
Thor's running into everything. And something I read, he runs into a statue of his grandfather, and Loki says, "You just killed Grandpa or
Is
something."
that great? You just
So
decapitated your
I
grandpa.
read he actually does kill him in like the comics or whatever. Thor
Thor.
actually kills his grandpa because of Loki's deception or something. I was
Dang,
reading
dude,
in the
that's
comics,
cool.
so I think they threw that
They're
in the
freaking
movie.
on it, dude. Marvel's on their shit.
But yeah,
all
that
the
was my
time.
favorite scene.
They're
Right?
always on their shit.
Favorite scene?
Favorite scene, I'd have to probably go with Frigga on this one.
Free guy, wrong movie.
Of course, Thor and Loki's mother.
Fucking.
She had a little. I'm not gonna consider it an action scene because she doesn't really have any like action scenes in here, but she gets into a little scruffle with
Squirmish.
Malekith
Again.
and makes
holds her
him
own.
her bitch, bro. Dude, fucked him up, dude. I loved it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had Thor losing his mom, Frigga, like that was a powerful scene. I think this movie, what makes this stand out to me is Marvel is so bad about just like, oh, this person died. Wink, wink. Like, I like that there's actually someone dying here. There's a finality to it, and I like the emotion to it. And then the way they, like, not celebrated her death, but, like, celebrated her life and the way they did that. And that also piggybacks with, like, Loki watching his reaction, dude. Like, he kind of is just like, and then you see him later on. He's like, okay, you want to see the real me, brother? And he's just, like, distraught in the fucking corner. That is good shit. Need more of that from Marvel rather than like, oh, you died, but you're going to come back. And I think that's a big thing I like about this movie. There's a few powerful scenes where it's like emotional to some degree. And yeah, that's what I got to go with for me. What did everybody else say just real fast? Same shit?
Me and Tyler were on when Thor and Loki were escaping from Asgard.
Yeah.
And I forgot what Rodney said.
Frigga.
Some were
fighting
Frigga the
Malekith.
fight, yeah. Good shit. Action sequence. For me, when Loki dies again, another one, this piggybacks on what I just said. It would have been an amazing, powerful scene, like if he did die here. But that whole scene is like some of my favorite Marvel shit. I absolutely love it because it kicks off with him just like, you trust me, brother? He's like, well, like, would you trust you? And then when he takes it off, he fucking is like stabbing him, throwing him down the hill, cutting his hand off. And what's so beautiful about it is it's not like, okay, come on, you really gonna fall for this? But you know, because it's Loki, they would fall for that. And even in the moment on your first viewing, you're falling for that. You're like, oh my God, I was rooting for you, Loki. What are you fucking doing, Loki? Damn it. And then for him to flip it back around and immediately win you over again, as he's like saving Jane's character, and then he's getting like sucked up in the fucking like portal, and then I get hyped as fuck when Thor like knocks him out of it. And then that big dude, what the fuck was his name? I fucking know his name.
Jeff.
He was badass.
Yeah,
The
dude.
guy that Malekith created.
Yeah, that dude just
Yeah.
looks badass. He's one of the coolest looking bad guys I've seen. And the way, like, he was beating the shit out of Thor, too. I loved every second of that. He was just pounding his head in like this until fucking Loki coming over like a G, stabbing him. And then for him to go whoosh, pulling him into him, dude, that would have been such an amazing way for him to go. The emotion there with Thor and Loki, so fucking good. Like Loki's last words and shit, that whole little, monologue, if you will, just so good. And then Loki playing the trick on him, like "See you in hell, monster," because he had then blew him up. That is one of my favorite scenes in MCU. Period. It's fucking amazing.
His name
that
is
whole
Curse with a K.
action sequence, so good. I thought I'd wrote it down, but maybe I didn't.
My favorite scenes towards the beginning, or action scene, towards the beginning when like the elves are attacking Asgard. I love when Heimdall, you just see him take off running. Like, what is he doing? He takes down that whole ship.
Yeah.
By
Oh,
himself.
it's so dope. Yeah, and then he looks up and was like,
And
"Fuck."
there's just a bunch of them just invading Asgard, but
Just
yeah,
show
that,
you his willingness, dude, to just like, I
not
don't,
getting in here.
nothing's getting past me. And even a
Um,
ship.
But yeah, that whole fight, the battle at Asgard was my favorite action scene.
Mine, I guess, is the end when they're fighting and you're just going through all them portals. Like, you don't know if they're going to get saved and go into a portal or if they're going to get thrown into a portal and get their ass kicked. So that was dope. And then what Brandon said about the whole Loki and Thor cutting off their arm. And then it just, like, they're a team.
So you got two
You
again.
got another one? You wanna throw in there too?
Am I not allowed?
You're not supposed to, because that's what makes it interesting.
Well, I
like,
don't
it
want us
saves it
just
for
to
everyone
have
else.
4 and we're talking about a
Well,
a
that's
Marvel
when if no
movie.
one says another one, like, here's another one that we didn't talk about. Not like, out the
Okay,
gates.
I'll just start saying I agree with Brandon's.
Yeah, there we go.
Rodney, what
It
you
makes
got?
it tough
Opening of
to
the
limit
movie.
it.
The first 10 to 15 minutes of
I
this
knew that
movie
was good.
is pure cinematic masterpiece to me. Everything that you would go to a movie theater to watch was the first like 10, 15 minutes of this movie, and I loved every second of it. So, favorite action scene.
Boobs.
Shit, real quick though, I'm gonna shine some light on the end fight scene. This is where you can add some at the end, and nobody really said anything about it. I thought the end fight scene was dope as fuck, like where they were fucking going through like different portals.
He did say that.
Yeah.
That
Did
was
you?
one of his 7
Yeah.
scenes. He mentioned.
Okay, I missed that one. I mixed it up with the other 4.
Any boobies, Tyler?
No boobs.
Did you really say it?
Yeah, he
Maybe
definitely
I knew you agreed with mine, but I thought your first one was different for some reason.
This movie was mainly filmed in the United Kingdom, but they also shot some scenes in Iceland. And then it takes place in Asgard, and then when they're on Earth, they are in London. So, yeah, pretty straightforward.
Dope. Best unimportant scene for me was Loki's complete chill as Malekith's army is like attacking. He's just like reading a book while all this crazy shit's going on outside. So just again, Loki just killing it with the performance in this one. I don't know if anybody else had one. Of course, guys. I mean, he had it on the cringiest portion. Tyler had a good one with that one, last one. But if y'all have an unimportant scene that doesn't feel really important but means something to you, always feel free to
I
chime in.
don't know if this is unimportant, but I like the scene when Thor went to talk to Loki in his cell,
Mhm.
and Loki looked pulled together or whatever, and Thor's like, enough with the illusions.
Yeah.
And then Loki's like on the ground, like
Yeah.
having a real tough time after his mom
It's so
died.
dope.
I did like that
Oh.
scene.
I'd have to say Heimdall, seeing that shit when it's in the
Shit or ship?
the ship.
Sound like you said shit.
Ship.
But I knew you.
He
Goes the bone
sees it
cold.
while it's invisible, so it's like he truly has that vision. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it kind of shows you who Heimdall, and plus he kicks that fucking thing's ass.
Yeah, that
he
was my
jumps on
favorite
it,
scene.
starts stabbing it and shit. Fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
We just don't listen to each other. Like I didn't hear his, he didn't hear that. I talked about Loki being like distraught at one point too, but it's all good.
What we got? Brandon, we just did that.
Yeah,
Rodney?
dumbest or cringiest, dude.
Huh?
Dumbest
Dumb
or
moments?
cringiest? That was
No,
dumb.
not
right
really
there.
this time. No, no.
No. Tyler?
All right.
Goofy.
I mentioned this earlier. When Thor says, out of the two of us, which one can actually fly? The part can actually fly doesn't get mouthed by Thor in the scene. Crazy. When Malekith
that.
enters Asgard throne room,
I missed
he
it.
detonates a grenade
And I
which
was just
destroys
shitting.
Odin's throne. However, when Odin and a host of soldiers enter the throne room seconds later, the throne appears to still be intact. What are they doing?
Good God.
Motherfucker.
It's crazy how there's not like insane goofs with this shit. It's like
I know.
consistently just like average
They're not
shit.
they're not that interesting.
One of these days over again was like, what? That was in the movie? This is just like, damn, dude, from left to right, switched hands.
Here it is. Loki's footwear in the prison chamber switches from moccasin-like slippers to boots.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's...
Couldn't Loki
Dude,
just
I
like...
hate doing goofs because they've been so bad.
Couldn't
for like a
Loki...
month.
couldn't Loki like technically just do that though? Like maybe he was just like, I want a wardrobe change.
Yeah, I want some more comfortable shoes. Let me put on these slippers.
Any good deleted scenes, Brandon?
Dude, I didn't even write one down because it was another one of those ones. There was a couple I thought of, and I think that's where I was like, I couldn't remember if this was in Dark World or this one. I think it was in Dark World. There's one scene where Ray Stevenson's character, I forget his name, long-haired, bearded dude from Dexter season 7, bad guy in that for you Dexter fans.
Punisher Warzone.
Yes, I think it's an underrated movie too. Dope as fuck. Let's talk about that for a while. I'm done with this. Yeah, it's a moment where Thor, like, it's like an extended scene. I think it shines him in some more light. Like, it shows like his kids running up. Shows he's kind of like more of like a family man, which is kind of cool. And you kind of see Thor, like everybody's like cheering, and Thor's like just kind of like looking at his like mug, and he puts it down, and you can see like his mind's elsewhere. Like, there's a bunch of shit like that. Doesn't need to be in the movie, but like if it was, I wouldn't hate it. There wasn't anything in particular that was like so bad. I'm like, good lord, this should have stayed out, but nothing too great either. There's
Did
one
the
scene.
ending deliver for you guys?
Yes, faux show for me. I love that ending fight scene. I love the fucking where Thor's like knocked out and it looks like he's gonna get killed, and then it just shifts and it's like, where the fuck that? It's like, oh, falling on douchebag Malekith. Like, I like all that shit.
I think it delivered, but it definitely delivered with the very end scene when Thor is talking to Odin, and then Thor walks away, and you see Odin is actually Loki.
Dude,
I was like,
it's so dope.
That's
like
he
it's maddening. 'Cause you're like, what a good scene, and Marvel again bringing a character like that. But since it was Loki, me and Rodney were talking about, it's okay,
Dude.
and it was so sick for them to do that because that was like the last. Like, you literally were like, don't free Loki. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to get on board with Loki. Oh, he just cut Thor's hand off. Like, oh, it's a trick.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Loki. Oh, my God, I'm sorry I ever doubted you, Loki. You died. Oh, my God, Loki, you son of a bitch. Like, he's a masterpiece in him just, like, swaying everybody in the movie.
He's a god of
and swaying
mischief.
the- Yeah,
man.
it was that's a big reason why this movie is, like, grown even more to me.
Dude.
Ending did not deliver for me.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not a big fan of the end fight scene. I think, Brandon was kind of talking about this off air, but I think Malekith is maybe the weakest villain in the MCU. I think he's so forgettable.
I like him a lot, actually.
And like you were kind of mentioning, I like his sidekick way better.
Yeah.
I think that dude was way
yeah.
superior
He was
to
the
Malekith.
He's
and
dope.
he should have been the main fucking villain, and it would have been a lot
But-
better. Malekith was so forgettable. I mean,
I
don't
could
even know where
dig,
to
like,
start.
I'm totally cool with him being the main bad guy, and I might have even liked it more. But the reason that worked for me is, or at least for me personally, I think Malekith was cool too. And then him, it's like the classic, like, okay, like, yeah, I can do some shit too, but my right hand man right here, you don't want to fuck with him, dude.
But can
That's
he do
in
some
so
shit?
many
He got
movies.
beat by a female.
Okay.
I mean, he was holding his own against Thor a little bit. I thought it was cool.
Oh, you're talking about Malekith. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a terrible villain. Okay, Rodney, did the ending deliver for you?
I think I'm
Hang on,
mixed.
pause. But then, as Tyler was saying, I think the ending with Odin, that part did deliver for me
So
personally.
it's a mixed
Okay.
bag for you.
The ending did that final battle again. Marvel's letting me down with final battles because it did not hit for me. Okay,
I'd
sorry,
call
Rodney.
that a mixed bag. Like the battle, no, but that's part of the ending. The message of it all.
I'll say mine's a mixed bag. It delivers in the sense, the Odin thing, like you all were saying, but I don't get. I feel like at the end of the day, they just beat Malekith way too easily. way too easily. Like it's like all it took was them throwing him up against that thing and just hitting him with that teleporter, and then that was that. Like I just don't. I feel like
see that.
I feel like they kind of went lazy a little bit with the writing towards the end of it, and they were like, all right, let's just figure out a quick way to end him, because it had to be more intricate than that. Because I mean, Thor was like throwing everything at him, and he wasn't beating him. And just out of nowhere, this little
The power
thing,
of love.
yeah,
No, I'm just-
yeah, the power of love. But yeah, that
So
kind
did
of
you-
bothers me.
Did you dislike Malekith too, or no?
No, I like Malekith as a villain. I do. I like his composure throughout the movie. How he's just kind of like, look, I'm here to do what I'm here to do, and that's that.
I like how the Thor villains have like almost like being the horror fan I am. They always kind of like the bad guys in Thor always kind of have like a horror almost like look to them in comparison to other villains in the MCU. Like you could pull them out of that. Every one of those villains out of a movie. Like even the first one, I didn't say this, but what is those motherfuckers' names? The first fight where Josh was talking about the
Frost
big, yeah,
Giants or
like
whatever?
all them, like the main motherfucker over there, like remind me of Wishmaster. Like they just have like a darker vibe to them, and like the way they look and the way they attack and shit to me. So I dig all the villains in like the Thor universe for the most part, which also helps with Asgard. Like not just the look of it, like what's there for them to go up against really gets me. And I thought that helped for me with Malekith a lot too.
Ready for some trivia?
Oh yeah.
Did you say that, Andy? Yeah.
Yeah. I did.
Approximately, how many hammers were made for Thor on set?
We're about to strike out
12.
again. 9.
12, 9,
7.
7, approximately 30.
Wow.
They had 30
Hold on.
different
12
hammers.
plus 9, 21, 28. Damn, that would have been cool.
How else were we?
28.
Oh, nice. We were close, bro.
We had that shit combined.
So I think this has to do with Rodney's favorite scene.
He's got to nail this thing, but he won't.
Where did Thor?
You know it's coming. He's not going to get it.
Where did Thor and the Asgardian warriors battle the Marauders at the beginning of the movie?
What the fuck are Marauders, bro?
That was in Nightingham.
Night at the Roxbury? I like you said.
Okay.
Niflgaard or whatever it's called.
Jotunheim.
That's one. Yeah.
Jotunheim. Tyler, any
I'll
guess?
go with Jotunheim.
It was Vanheim.
Yeah.
Vanaheim.
I knew it was a fucking Heim. Damn it. I knew Jotunheim was a place. I didn't think he was right, but I was like, fuck it.
So the
It's one of them the Heimlich maneuver.
Last question: the kiss between Thor and Jane on the post credits
Lasted exactly how many
was
seconds?
not Natalie Portman. She, due to conflicting
We're
issues,
about to be
who
old
did
now.
Thor actually kiss?
His wife, Elsa Pataki.
His wife.
It's his
Yeah.
wife.
His wife. Oh, shit. You
She's
didn't
wearing
give
a
me a
wig
chance.
and all that. Yeah, I knew that. I was gonna bring that up as an additional point.
Tyler
I
looked
had
at
to
me and
give
was
you all
like,
one.
I got
Yeah.
this. I was like, is he serious? I thought he was
The
joking.
last one too.
How do y'all know
Yeah,
that?
Yeah,
it's
we're
probably
like what,
weird.
1 for 12?
Yeah, literally 1 for
Anyways.
12. That's failing.
Rotten Tomatoes for Thor: The Dark World. Are you ready? Drum roll. 66% critic, 75% audience,
It's crazy how you look at that and you're just like, God, yeah, this one sucked.
and a
compared to
6.8
others."
IMDb.
6.8. That's better than.
Hulk.
Personally, I've always disliked this movie. I have a weird history with this movie, actually. When I went and seen it in theaters for the first time, it was the same night that I got locked up. So
You
I
had
saw
a
the
bad
movie.
taste in your mouth from that point
Yeah,
forward.
and then like 3 hours later, I was in a jail cell. So had
What'd
a
you
bad
do?
taste in my
You shouldn't have
mouth.
snuck in the movies, dude.
Yeah.
He fucking.
I was so mad.
Dude, I remember I was there, dude, because we saw fucking what came out in 2011 or whatever year this came out. 2013. That was the year, and we
Yep.
saw Ghostbusters. That came out that year too, and I was like, dude, don't sneak into that movie. You're like, dude, it's easy. Once you see one movie, you just walk into the next one. It's
Yeah.
not Friday night.
So I thought.
They're not gonna be. I'm like, what would Jesus do, Rodney? What would Jesus do? And he said, he'd sneak. And he fucking walked over, and the fucking big ass
SWAT
dude,
showed up.
The DEA.
he just
FBI.
grabbed him up, and he was done. And as
Shield
he was
was
getting
there?
pulled out, he's like, "I hate
Yeah,
Thor
Shield.
Dark World.
Shield showed
I
up.
hate Thor Dark World." And he got pulled out, and from that
What's
moment
your
uh,
score,
on,
Rodney?
So yeah, I hated this movie for a long time, but I really actually kind of turned around on this viewing. I really enjoyed this movie a lot more. It's a 7.5 for me.
thank
Tyler,
you, sir.
me.
I, like Rodney, hated this movie.
I
I
don't
thought it was the
understand
worst
it.
Marvel movie.
Thank you. I've
Ever.
been preaching this movie's praises. Jesus, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
then
excited.
this watch, I actually enjoyed it. I gave it a
6.
7.3. So yeah,
So like Tyler and Rodney, this has always been my least favorite MCU movie, but this was my favorite viewing of it.
yeah.
But I still didn't really like it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said earlier. I was like, it's not gonna be, because he was talking about like one of these movies I didn't like as much. It's like it's not gonna be. He's like, oh, so it is dark. I'm like, no, it ain't. Now it's not a 3 for Josh. It's a 3.5.
So yeah, this movie's always been like a 5 for me. Just
Oh no.
But I'm gonna give it a 5.05. No, it's gonna get a 5.9.
Same as the first one.
5.9.
5.9.
They
Same
both-
as the
Remember that?
first one. I couldn't, and that's why I gave it a 5.9 because I couldn't figure out which one I liked more.
Yeah.
There's certain things I like more about the Dark World. I like seeing Thor as Thor and not a human. I also like Thor in this movie way more than that first one. I didn't find him likable in the first one, but I do in this one. And then Loki really drives the score up for me. But then there's just so much bad in it, so it's 5.9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a complicated score with this one. I've always thought, like, when people say this is the worst MCU movie or it's not a good one, I'm just like, psst, are y'all fucking crazy? So that's why I'm glad, like, y'all came around on it a little bit. And even you, even though it still sucks to you, or it's average to you. Almost good, I guess, is what, at least on my score ratings, it would be. I always give it, like, you know, like, it's not as great movie like the first Thor, like a 7.3, 7.5 range is what I always gave it. But on this viewing, and it seems like the last couple of viewings, I'm like, and the more I hear people hate on it, I'm like, more even drawn to, I'm like, what are y'all watching? And on this viewing, I raised up to a 7.8. But then I watched the second half of it again with Rodney, and I even wanted to go above a 7.8, but I'm like, maybe I'm being too fucking critical. And the more I watched it again with Rodney on the second viewing, it was just really like, and this is so great, because I was focused on like everything. Like, how are people hating this? I think I'm up to like an 8.2.
Damn.
Like 0.1 below the first Thor. Like, this movie is great to me. And I think a big problem people have with this is a lot of the MCU audience is more like, oh, classic MCU formula, like, that's really funny, this is good. Quick action scene to the point. Yeah, you got that opening great action scene, but I think it takes a lot longer to get into everything in this movie compared to other ones, and the classic MCU audience isn't going to appreciate that because they're not really, let's face it, a lot of MCU fans, not all of them are just like, we like just popcorn movie shit, like, I don't need all this extra shit. But once this movie gets going and you can kind of stick it out, it really hits its stride. And I wonder, like, if y'all are watching this critically, if maybe that helped y'all in a way, whereas you're like, MCU movie, I don't need to focus too much, I will, but like, oh, this is kind of boring in comparison to other ones, and then you don't really get to enjoy the second half as much. But this movie, like, once it picks up, dude, and the fucking emotions of it and shit, I think this is a great movie, and it grows on me with, like, each watch, honestly. I think this is a dope-ass Marvel movie, and it's a dope-ass Thor movie, and somehow or another, even though I sang this one's praises, and I absolutely love the first Thor and like this one, it's only, I'm like going to say it's 0.1 worse than the first Thor. I had first Thor at 8.3. I'm going to give this one an 8.2. I love this fucking movie. I'm finally going to say it. Fuck it. I'm on board. I love it. Y'all came around and like it this time. Josh came around and averaged it this time. I'm going to say I came around and loved it this time.
Any additional points?
Yes, this movie's great. And
MCU.
Did the ending deliver?
Did the ending deliver, though?